I have a problem with finding a cure for cancer. Not just cancer. I have a problem with finding a cure for Alzheimer's, diabetes, heart disease, and many other lifestyle diseases, okay? So when I'm talking lifestyle diseases, this means the diseases we can prevent by how we're living. So there's tons of resources that are going into finding a cure for something we're doing to ourselves. So what happens when we find a cure to cancer? All the behaviors that we as a species have knowingly, maybe you're not conscious about your participation in it, but we know now how much of our behavior contributes to cancer killing us. We're now understanding how our behavior of how we consume sugar and refined foods and excitotoxins contributes to Alzheimer's and heart disease and so on and so on and so on. So what happens if we find a cure for these things? Well, we know that about 5% of these conditions are genetic and lifestyle factors have very minimal impact. For the rest, it's mostly lifestyle. Now, here's the interesting correlation between the lifestyle behaviors that are killing us and the fact that they're actually killing the planet as well. You see, we're really a pretty selfish species. And as long as we're okay, we tend not to think about too many other species as a whole. And I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of people who are really concerned about what's happening to the environment, but for the most part, it doesn't really stop us from getting in our cars and driving, from eating, packaged foods, from eating in a way that's contributing acidification of our oceans. It's contributing to factory farming that's killing a lot of animals. You see, in return to food, I say what's good for the body is good for the planet, and what's good for the planet is good for the body. So anytime we do something that's not good for our bodies, we actually create many problems on the planet. As soon as we package a food that's perfectly good in nature. So think about, this is one of the most crazy things I've ever seen, is they take an apple and they slice it, they coat it in chemicals and put it in a pack so that you can have fresh apple on an airplane rather than just eating an apple that has no waste. So the core decomposes, or it goes through us in a very natural way, as opposed to now it's being treated with a chemical, it's got packaging, and how much machinery, fossil fuels, and all kinds of things are actually created to then deal with the packaging or create the packaging. So do you see that if we actually have a pill to just take care of our cancer, and we don't actually take responsibility for the things that we've done as a species to contribute to our own sickness, whether that's diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart disease, what we do is we'll end up creating even more problems for the planet. And what does that mean? Well, it means future generations are really going to be stuffed. They might have pills that might cure one part of the problem, but as we know with most pharmaceuticals, okay, when we're talking about treating symptoms, they create more problems than the actual solution that they're providing, the treating of the symptom, and they never deal with the issue of what's actually created it in the first place. So now you've got all kinds of problems happening. So do I want a cure for cancer? Absolutely. But do I think that a cure for cancer, putting the majority of resources in finding a cure, is a smarter way about going things than putting 90% of those resources into education that show us how we can actually prevent it? Okay, to me it makes more sense to put the bulk of those resources in showing the 95% how to prevent cancer than to put the bulk of those resources to save the 5% where it's genetically, there's not much they can do about it apart, within their lifestyle conditions. I don't know if I'm making sense to you right now, but I'm not trying to be provocative for the sake of upsetting anyone. Dying from a lifestyle disease, even if you've consciously contributed to it, is a terrible thing. And seeing a loved one die of a disease, any disease, is heartbreaking. So I'm not trying to be insensitive to anyone's pain. If anything, I'm trying to get us to think differently about how we actually approach cures and think more along the lines of prevention and understanding that when we go to cause, instead of just treating the symptoms, our resources are used so much more efficiently. And so it's one of the reasons with Sweet Freedom, we're not just giving you some kind of diet. We're here to help you treat the cause of your sugar addiction, helping you understand why it is that you're eating something that you as an intelligent person know you shouldn't be eating. And as always, one of the big things we are absolutely passionate about is getting into community to support and help one another. So if you'd like to get a little taste of our Sweet Freedom community, go to the Facebook group, which is listed below in the comments. If you'd like to leave your own comments or questions, please, no nastiness. It's not going to help anyone in the comment section, and we will just delete it, because if I'm not trying to be mean, and we just don't want that energy around Sweet Freedom. But if you have something positive and constructive, meaningful, intelligent, that contributes to the solution, we absolutely want to hear from you. So if you've liked this video, please press like, subscribe to our channel, and for more information, simply go to sweetfreedom.ca.